Do you want to hear a story that could change the way you see everything? It's not a story about success. Not yet. It's about a fisherman named Elias. He lived in a quiet coastal town where mornings came with fog thick enough to swallow the world. Every morning, while the rest of the town slept, Elias would walk down to the shore with an old wooden lantern. It didn't shine bright, just enough to see a few steps ahead. People said, "Why bother? The fish aren't even biting this season." But Elias never answered. He just kept walking, day after day, lighting that same dim lantern, rowing into the gray unknown. You see, Elias wasn't after fish. He was after something far more powerful: consistency. That lantern? It wasn't just to cut through the fog. It was to remind him who he was. Everyone in that town had a dream once: a bakery, a novel, a boat of their own. But most gave up. Not because they weren't smart, not because they didn't try, because they stopped. They waited for the perfect morning, waited for clear skies, perfect winds, or someone to join them. But the sky was never perfect, and no one ever came. Elias understood something most people never do. The future isn't built on motivation. It's built on footsteps, repeated through boredom, doubt, and silence. Some mornings the sea was kind. Others, it pushed him back with crashing waves. But every time, Elias showed up with that same creaky oar and flickering light. And over time, something changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily. One morning, after nearly a year, the fog broke just a little, and a silver glint caught his eye in the water. A glimmer of fish, a school, returning after months away. By then, his arms were stronger, his hands no longer blistered, his lantern brighter, replaced piece by piece with care. Elias brought home the largest catch the town had seen in years. They called him lucky. They said he must have had a secret spot. But Elias just smiled. He knew the truth. Luck is what meets you at the end of consistency. Let's bring this closer to you. We all have fog. Not literal mist, but uncertainty, fear, doubt. We tell ourselves, "I'll start when I feel ready." But the truth is, readiness is a lie. You don't need a bright torch. You need a lantern. Just enough light to take one small step, then repeat. That's how change begins. Not with leaps, not with fireworks, with quiet footsteps that no one claps for. Let's say you want to learn something, a language, a skill, a better way to live. You start one day full of energy. Day 2, you're still going. But day 6, you're tired. You question everything. This isn't working. This is pointless. That's the fog talking. But if you keep going, even for 5 minutes a day, the fog begins to shift. The water calms. Your mind adjusts. And one day, without even realizing, you become the kind of person who shows up, even in silence, even without results, especially without results. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. When you forget that, you fall into the trap most people live in forever. Start, stop. Start, stop. Burn out. Begin again. Quit. But there's a better way. Start small. So small it almost feels ridiculous. One push-up, one paragraph, one honest sentence. Then show up again tomorrow. And again. And again. Like Elias with his lantern. Because one day, without any fanfare, you look around and realize you're no longer in the fog. You've arrived at a life you didn't think was possible, built one boring, beautiful, brave step at a time. Let this be your lantern. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel brave. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to show up every day, even if all you carry is a flicker of light. Because a flicker, repeated, can outlast the storm. And eventually, it becomes a fire, one that lights your path, and maybe one day, someone else's too. The world doesn't need more brilliance. It needs more people who keep going, just like Elias. So light your lantern and begin.